Mando. Madness. I said, yo, me like me up. I want to be live where I swear. Now he said, I've been rapping my home and I'm getting the market. We're doing, I'm breaking the profit. On my way, people calling me names. All the trouble I see, I do at the peace. When the suffering, the success, I can't pay the code. Only how I can pay. Sooner or later, my hustle pay. Never pay, and I'm rushing myself. Keep it cool, everything have a CC. Too much rushing, I'm probably chasing. One day. Only one day. I'll get it cool. One day.
I'm also gonna pay one day. Enemies can go see my face. Me pa no, I'm not watching it. One day, success gonna come my way. I know my hustle gonna pay one day. Enemies can gonna see my face. Me pa no, I'm not watching it. One day, success gonna come my way. Yeah. My mama was so angry. My papa was so angry. My friend was the money. Any mess that will come on and miss. So I'm on my way. 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 I'm 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 on my way to this person that don't give her money. Don't give her money, oh. Don't give her money. I want my mama happy. Want me Papa happy. Want me my brothers and sisters to come around me. Yeah.
Captain Cool, why you know you hustle? Why saying the book by the Genesis? Shall come at the fire, shall come at the power. I feel I be working on Wednesday. In my love for the my, in my love for the my. All in the dark, all in the week, all in the sun.
My mama was so angry.
My
papa was so angry. My friend was the money. Any mess that will come on and miss. So I'm on my way. 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 I'm my way. I'm my way.
Business Beauty's Boutique. This is my brother Damon, this is Damani, and they come and help me out every other weekend. I am out here in Roger Williams Park across the street from the tennis court every other weekend, Saturday and Sunday, mostly every single Saturday for the summer, throughout the summer. So this is my small shop. I sell lashes, suitcases with waist beads, lip gloss, lashes, healing bracelets, waist beads, the last pouches. I'm making bracelets right now at this moment. I just need 4, and I have a whole bunch of waist beads in this box right here. These are scrunchies. Literally, I have a whole bunch of varieties. Baby bracelets, this is what they look like. Healing bracelets, that's what they look like. And that's pretty much what I sell.
morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women. Welcome to Attorney Commander J.R. Glapohkpa Chesson talk show. How you like the haircut? Hey, day before yesterday, I was just driving and I felt, I got to get rid of all this hair on my body. Got to trim it off. Got to look a little different. Then I said, let me find out what my wife got to say about this first. Then I come home. As soon as I entered my house, my wife looked at me and said, Mama, you need a haircut now, man. It's about time to get rid of all. I was like, whoa, I just thought about that. Then we're going to do it. So yeah, I am. You like it? Hang in there. Okay, it's 72 degrees in Providence, Rhode Island as we wake up this morning. And my topic for today is how to overcome Liberians' human weaknesses, lies, deception, and unfounded excuses to do nothing, corruption. Let me take a coffee break, and we'll be back to discuss all this good stuff. How do we overcome our human weaknesses, lies, deception, and unfounded excuses to do nothing, corruption? How do we overcome these things? From time and time again, we have tried to express to our people how our system of governance, of societal living, of education is corrupt. Our overall system that encompasses all of these good things that make our society a wholesome, functioning society today is corrupt. And it has been corrupt for years. It's not just starting today. When presidents try to prolong their stays in power beyond our constitutional limitations and change our constitution, it is profound evidence that our society is corrupt. Because for people to just get up and change our constitution that has been long-standing before Tottenham, Liberian Constitution were there from 1847. They started changing our constitution under Tottenham. Started changing the terms of the presidency from 2 terms to unlimited terms. That's how you were able to stay there in power for 30 years, because they tamper with our laws. And whenever you tamper with things that are sacrosanct, blessed, things that are divine. Our constitution is divine. It's blessed because it's selected and chosen and approved by all of the people of the Republic of Liberia. That is our only law that all of us vote on. That's the only law. All the other laws go through the legislature. They call them statutory laws. But when it comes to the real constitutional law, we, the people of Liberia, vote on that law. That what makes it so secret and sacrosanct and holy. Because all of us put our voices together to make this the laws of our nation that gave life to the Republic of Liberia. Because in the Constitution, it tells us the name of our country. It tells us our government. It tells us everything that makes us who we are and the governance and leadership of our country. What more can the Constitution do that is already done? So when our laws are made and our leaders come and bamboozle our people, kill off our strong men in our society and get a few greedy and useless men to tamper with our laws and change it, not for the good of the society, but for the good of individuals. A few individuals change our constitution for them, for their own aggrandizement, upliftment in our society. How can our democracy survive? It can't survive because that is not the will of the people. The will of the people voted our constitution in its entirety. When it was formed, when the legislature formed it and submitted it to the public, and the public voted on it, that are our laws. Our laws can't just be changed like that. But when a handful of men come and alter our laws, because the masses of our society do not have the competency, the mental competency to question their actions, and they do this why other people in our society are afraid. Because when you kill up all our men, the men that stand for justice and truth and constitutional leadership, when you kill them or you arrest them or put false charges on them and do all kind of things to make them silent, there are nobody there in our society to stand up to you. And in those days, in the 1847, just imagine, the masses of under Tottenham time, the masses of the Liberian people were still not part of the body politic of the Liberian society. Our indigenous people were not part of our politics. They were out of the politics. So there were only a handful of people ruling Liberia. And when Tottenham got rid of those few around him that stood up for the constitutional governance of Liberia, so he could put himself in power for life by changing our laws, there was nobody else to stand up to him. My grandfather came and brought all the indigenous chiefs and things and put them in the legislature because he was Speaker of the House. And he told all of them that it was because of Tottenham all these things had happened. It was because of the goodness of Tottenham all these things had happened. Then Tottenham poisoned him. So when he died, all our indigenous people knew that everything Benjamin told them was that Tottenham was the man. So our people, our indigenous people, gave undying loyalty to Tottenham. Nobody could touch Tottenham. Our indigenous people are the masses of the Liberian people. And when my grandfather brought all the chiefs, because my grandfather was Speaker of the House, and when my grandfather became Speaker of the House, Benjamin Green Freeman, he knew that as a lawyer, taxation without representation is not democratic. So here we were taxing our indigenous people, hot tax, this tax, and all these kind of taxes. We're taxing the people, and none of them were in our House of Representatives. So my grandfather got there. He brought this innovative idea of bringing the chiefs, who were the official leaders of the people and absolute rulers of the tribes. Bring the chiefs, let them be submissive to the government by serving in the House of Representatives and legislature. And from there, not only will we be able to control the rest of our nation, but we'll also be able to enlighten our chiefs, so when they come to Monrovia and see all the things in Monrovia and learn the parliamentarian process, they can leave and go back into the interior to the different villages and towns and try to implement similar things among their people. And this was the thinking of my grandfather. But that wasn't the thinking of Tottenham and all his boys around him. Rudolph Grimes, all his boys around him, the boys wanted to stay in power for life. So they fooled my grandfather. They said, okay, Ben Freeman, well, since you got this tremendous idea and you have brought all the indigenous people to serve with the president, leave the House of Representatives and come be vice president to the president. Come be closer to the president so you can implement all these things while he take care of the national issue. And my grandfather fell prey to that deception. And he left the House of Representatives where he was protected by the chiefs and all our indigenous people. He left it and came to Tottenham to be vice president. And the whole while they were discussing things, Tubman kept asking my grandfather, are you a real man? What does that mean in our African society? In our African culture, when somebody asks you, are you a real man? That means, do you have juju strong enough to expel other evil people that want to put juju around you? That's what it means. It has to do with traditional religious practices. So he kept asking my grandfather, are you a real man? My grandfather couldn't understand why Tubman kept asking this question. He even expressed it to my grandmother, his wife. So now that my grandfather is poisoned, he was out of the way. All the indigenous people gave their undying support and loyalty to Tubman. And not one Monrovia citizen, by that time, the whole governance of Liberia, it still is, but it's not as that prevalent as it was before. Everything that had to do with Liberia was in Monrovia. The government, the politics, everything. Nothing was in the interior. Everything was in Monrovia. So when my grandfather brought the indigenous people to Monrovia and told them Tubman was a man, and Tubman poisoned him and he died, and all the indigenous people gave their loyalty to Tubman, there was not one person in Monrovia that could really challenge Tubman. Yes, we had Albert Port, we had all the other boys, but they were not real threats to Tubman. Tubman used to beat Albert Port, put him in jail. When he didn't feel it, put him in jail, he write letter to him, condemning his letter that he wrote to him. I mean, it was fun to Tubman. You know, Albert Port used to walk around with his little briefcase, got trousers and shirt in it, because anytime Tubman would pick him up and put him in jail. So it was a little thing to Albert Port. You know, so he wasn't really a threat like my grandfather and the Colemans and these people that really want to get rid of Tubman. And my grandfather didn't want to get rid of Tubman, but Tubman knew that my grandfather would never have stood for him changing the Constitution to prolong his stay in power for life. My grandfather would have never done that. So all my life I grew up, people telling me, oh, don't talk. Don't say you want to be president. Oh, no, don't say. All my life I grew up like that. You know, then people say, Tubman killed my grandfather. How Tubman would kill my grandfather when Tubman is president, and as a little kid, I say I won't be president, and you tell me, no, don't say you won't be president. Don't say you can say you won't be anything else. Don't let Tubman hear you say that. Why? So it is evident that for years now, decades, we have lived under a system of lies, deception, and unfounded excuses to do nothing. Because when Tubman took over our country and he's staying in power for 30 years, you know, only a few people doing something. Liberians were built because the people around Tubman that had the ability to do things did it, and they were successful. So he was successful in appointing people around him that knew what to do. He even appointed my father. My father was Tubman Attorney General for years. He prosecuted many of Tubman's enemies. So these were all people loyal to Tubman. But that don't mean Tubman was right. That don't mean what he did to our country was just and fair. No, because we're suffering the ills of Tubman today. Not because my father participated in Tubman government, I'm supposed to keep quiet. And that's what Liberian people think. Oh, Chesson, why are you talking? Your pa enjoyed. Yeah, my pa enjoyed. But it wasn't right. It wasn't good, and he paid for it. They all paid for it. They were killed. They were killed. Although not for the crimes they committed, because they killed them unjustly. They had no crimes against them. You couldn't prove anything against them. But the mere fact is they were casualties of our revolution. And we got to accept it and move on and straighten up our revolution, because those people, if they died, cannot die in vain. Whether they were innocent or guilty or not, we killed Liberian people to change our country, and we must stick to that plan. We can't waver. It's like serving God. When you make up your mind to be a servant of the God of Israel, you cannot change. If you change, you're cursing yourself. Because the Lord, the God of Israel, is a real God. And it has been proven through time that he's a real God. So if you submit to that God and you change away from him and go to some other God, it's on you and your household. It's not on him. If your other gods are powerful enough. So our country has come from a place of lies, deception. And when our leader is corrupt, like Tutman was corrupt for years, our country, people didn't do nothing. That's why you see people never used to go to work on time. Some people go to work, they leave early. Some people go to work and never come back. Leave lunch and never come back. It has been prevalent in our society since Tutman time. You know, only the poor people, they are stringent on them to follow laws and do things, but the people at the top, they do what they want to do. They do what they want to do. And they see they have me on the door. I told you our legal counsel of the Treasury Department, I worked whole year. I stayed home. I never went to work. Why? Because they were fighting me with my job. They said my pa died, so they couldn't give me the job. I said, oh yeah, well, my pa died. I'm not a man hanging on to my pa's string. I'm a man for myself in the Republic of Liberia. When I talk, my voice is heard. So I told them, keep the job. I will keep the money. So for 1 year almost, I got paid and never worked. I got paid my full salary, $1,000 every month. I went and collected my money and went home and played video game. And I never worked because they refused to give me my job, and I wanted to show them that I was just as powerful a man in my country as Doe and any one of them, and they weren't going to take my damn job from me. So I told them, keep the job. And that job was legal counsel at the Treasury Department. So I sat at home for 6-7 months. Every morning I get up, I come to the ministry, I collect my check, I go cash it, I go home, I start watching my video game, I play my video game. So the minister got tired with it. One day he called me, he said, Chesson, come up here. So I went out to the minister. He said, my man, you can't be getting this money and do nothing. I said, that's a system. That's the system. Mr. Minister, that's the system. You know I'm employed in this position. The head of the division refused to give me my letter of appointment because he wanted to appoint a woman. And the woman wasn't in she never worked in our ministry. I started in a ministry from a college student and went through college and went through law school and graduated from law school. I deserved that position. I was the only one in the ministry that went through college and was a lawyer and graduated from law school. But they wanted to take the job and give it to one woman who never worked in the ministry. So one of the ministers who never talked to me, this minister, he never liked me. From the day I walked in the mayor's office, the mayor told me to get out of the office. He had heard so many things about me. So I'm sitting in my office this day, just sitting down. This man comes in my office. The same mayor who minister had deputy minister driven me out of his office, told me never to come in his office again. So I stayed away from him. I was a director. I didn't have to go to his office. My chief went to his office. My chief was commissioner. So I'm sitting down in my office. This man walks into my office. He pushes the door over and says, Chesson, come on, I want to see you. I'm like, what? This guy going to kill me? Why you there? You never want to talk to me. And then you come all of a sudden, you want to see me? So I was like, yes, Mr. Minister. I got up. I follow him. There's a place between the finance ministry and the check cashing department, the department that prints the check. It's not in the building. It's on the side of the building. So between that building and the main building, there's a little pathway that goes on the side of the building and comes to the front of the building. And that's where the minister took me. He put his hands around my shoulder. I was like, damn, this guy going to kill me, man. This guy hugging me. Oh, this man hit me. He's hugging me. So he put his hand around my shoulder. He said, let's go, Chesson. So we're walking between the buildings, and he said, you know something? There's a job up there for legal counsel of the Treasury Department. He said, I think you deserve that job because you started here in college. You went through college, got a degree, went to law school, got a degree. You got the first shot at that job. Go get your job. I finished telling the personnel to hire you, and The paper deck, your paperwork is on the desk in the person that go upstairs and fill it up. Man, the minister tell you that kind of thing. They pay for that job or double my pay. It was double my pay at that time. You think the elevator was fast enough for me? Hell no. My feet were faster than the damn elevator. You should have seen me running up those stairs in the finance ministry. I think the person that is on the 6th floor. And my office was in the back under the check-making department building. I was on the ground floor. I ran from there, ran to the main building, ran up those stairs. By the time I got the person there, she saw me. She said, "Chesson, cool down. Your paperwork on the table, go fill it up." So I sat down, I filled up all my paperwork. And what really made this man mad was because he had been employed. I talking about the chief of the division that I was going to work in, that I was employed to work in. It's called Bureau of Technical Services. That's the technical bureau in the Department of Finance, Ministry of Finance, that does contracts, review legal work, and everything for the ministry. That's the technical office. So I was going there to work. So what really pissed him off was he had come from the Netherlands with a degree from the Netherlands in Dutch and give it to the what do you call it? Civil service. And the civil service told him, said, "Man, you got to translate this thing. First of all, we don't know what school you went to. We don't know what this degree says. Translate it to us. Then we will go and further vet it to find out whether this is a real degree or not." He couldn't do that. So they said, okay, well, there was proof that he attended school somewhere and he was competent for the job. So they gave him the job. And the president said he should take the job. So we were going to fight against him. So he had the job. But for him to do the processes to civil service to get the full pay for the job, he couldn't do it because civil service refused to give him the full pay for the job because he had not met the criteria of translating his degree for them. So they said, "We're not giving you the full pay for the job." And yeah, I was a University of Liberia law school, not only University of Liberia, a Cardinal University graduate, a University of Liberia graduate, a demonstration school graduate, a St. Patrick High School graduate. I graduated from every institution in my country. I went for the job. In 3 days, I was on the payroll because I know everybody in my country. And that was why I tell people I never had to practice law in Liberia. I know everybody. I knew everybody that was somebody that mattered. So when people came to me with their cases, it's just and there, I said, "Who your case again?" That person has to give me the number. I will call him. I said, "My man, look, solve this case with my boy, man. And I'm on board. You're harmonize your business. I'm feeling with it." They'll say, "Okay, Mr. Okay, Chesson, we'll take care of it." And they will hang up with me. That's how influential I was in my society. So I didn't have to worry about nothing. Basically, when it comes to doing all those legal work and all those kind of things, that's why I never went to court because I knew everybody. So I told this man who was in charge. He came down. He met me in the hallway. Talking about how you got on the payroll in 3 days? I've been here. I can't get on the payroll for 3 months. I still fighting. I said, "Man, look, man, I graduated from every institution in this country. I play sports in this country. I'm a national basketball star. I'm a national rugby star." I said, "You think you got more point in this country than me?" I said, "You keep the job. I will keep the money." And I kept the money. He kept the job. I didn't work for 6-7 months. The minister called me. He said, "Just you got to work for this money." I said, "Well, hey, you got the man in there holding me up, not giving my job." He said, "Okay, take your job from me." Then he take a contract and throw it in my hand and said, "Go do that contract." So I look at the contract. The contract was for some scaffolding company was fixing the ministry. So they had all this scaffolding, the scaffold, these all metal things all around the building so people can clear money to paint the windows and fix all the buildings. So there were scaffolds all around the building. So I had the contract was for these people. So when I reviewed the contract, I did it. I took it to him. He read through and approved everything and signed it. I said, "Well, That's my contract for my first 6 months of work. That my first 6 months. He looked at me, they kept out of my office. I said, I left. So I kept that job, and then I left Liberia. Who are going to take my job from me? I'm one of the few educated people in my country. I'm a national star. I always had a voice in my country. Even under my power, when I talk my power, listen to me. That's why when I told my father they were going to execute that, they were going to overthrow the Toba government, my father didn't believe me. I told him 4 times that they were going to overthrow the government and he needed to take charge and straighten out the security. He called all the security together. Half of them dead now because they killed them during the coup. He called them together and said, my son Rodney said, oh man, oh Rodney should have been, who's sleeping, man? Oh Rodney, what you do? Stop making fun of me. Oh Rodney, I remember that very night. The soldier was shooting all in Buchanan. We were in Bassel that night when they had a coup and Toba sent my father there to investigate. We got there, my father was sleeping, I left and went out. The soldiers shooting all on the beaches, got the people scared. I came home that night, I woke my father up, I told him, they're going to overthrow you. The soldiers are in discipline. He said, Rodney, what you know about soldiers? We got Vani Dempster, we got all the tough security. You know, they killed every one of them. All the people names he was calling to me. They dead. We got this person. I think the only one that was in that meeting with us that night that's still alive or just died was Wilford Clark, who was National Security Advisor. Wilford Clark was in that room with us that night. And he was really wanted. He was asking me, oh, Rodney, what you doing all that night? I said, man, come on, Wilford. How you asking me that kind of question? Like I sung on a little baby boy. Like, well, why I doing all your night? And my song on the I'm a college man, coming to graduate from college. Then you asking me what I do all in the night? What wrong with you? You crazy? You can't sit before my power. My power just looking at me. I said, these people, they killed every one of them. Except Wilford Clark. He was calling me after the coup. He was calling me to go see him. I said, what you want to see me for, Wilford? I ain't in your politics. Because all our people deceitful. So if Totma could stay in power for 30 years after changing our constitution, and these people supported him, our tribal people were loyal to him. Totma used our country money like it was his private money. Every Saturday, I told you, even my mother used to get ready every Saturday. Oh, we're going to see Cousin Pat. We're going to see Pat. All of them would dress up and go to the mansion, and there would be long lines from the door of the president's office, all the way down the street from the mansion down Booster Quarter Street. The line would be down there to go see the president every Saturday. They want to go visit the president to go see him, to tell him happy Saturday. And everybody leaving around that place with $1,000, a purse of $1,000. Can you imagine the government, the money of the Republic of Liberia being given up to private people by the president? That's how he bribed our country. That's how Totma was able to stay in power for 30 years. Every Saturday he bribed people $1,000 or more. It depends how close you were to him. And Jimmy Barrow, his butler, that's why the football team Barrow is named after Butler. Butler used to keep the money. So you know Butler, when Butler take one for Tottenham, he take one for Butler, one for Tottenham, one for Butler. That's the Liberian way. One for you, one for me. One for you. That's corruption. So you know Barrow was rich. That's why he funded the Barrow football team and everything like that. But our country has come from an era of lies, deception, and just doing nothing and eating money free. It can't go on. It cannot go on. Our country will not grow. That's why in Liberia we got there for peace sake thing. When people steal and you want pounding in America, say, oh no, don't do it, man, for peace sake, let there be peace. Peace? For peace sake? You stealing my country money, I will punish you, then you can't tell me I'm gonna leave you for peace. What kind of peace? That's creating violence right there. That's breaking the peace. When you steal my money and I won't punish you, then another dummy come and tell me, oh, don't punish him for peace sake. What kind of for peace sake? And this is what's going on in our country today. You steal, I steal for peace sake. Let everybody just keep quiet for peace sake. Who does this hurt? It's hurting our future. It's hurting our little children that's striving to make better lives for themselves. Little children who don't even know anything that's going on now. That's why we are held responsible to plan their future, to lay down the necessities that will open doors to them in the future to rise, to be better, productive citizens in our society. But if we don't do that, we neglect the children. And all we think about ourselves and our ways of stealing and deceiving people and lying to the government and things like that, it filters down right to the children. Because while we think about doing all those things, we are neglecting our responsibilities and duties to our children, our future. So our future is in a limbo. Who can we blame? Who can we blame? You know, these white people, media we're on, Facebook, Twitter, they don't understand our plight. They set their rules and their standards, and everything we say, they hold us to those rules and standards. That's not our rules and standards. That these white people rules and standards. Okay? Because there are things that need to be said in our society. Our people, the young children in Liberia growing up in America, they don't know our society. Oh, you see the thing. But there are things that need to be said. If our people are gullible and stupid, they need to hear it. Yeah, I will say it. I don't care what Facebook say. I don't care what Twitter say. Yes, they got the power to suspend me, but they don't have the power to silence me. So I will say it. When they said, you can suspend me all you want. They said. But our people need to hear these things because it is the truth. And the truth shall set you free. We need to hear it. And what I was going to say this morning is the Liberian society is so gullible. I mean, we got so many immature young people in Liberia. People with degrees. People with degrees. With big degrees. They are immature. Don't see them with these degrees in Liberia. They are gullible and stupid. Stupid. I talked to one little young boy yesterday. I will not call his name. His mom died. And his people abroad. So he called me telling me, oh, my mom died. I got all the property. I said, you got all the property? How you got all the property? Oh, she left it all with me. I said, do you know that there are laws in Liberia? Because your mom died and left the property and you the only one in Liberia, you think all the property for you? I said, you don't know we have laws? And this is a man with master's degree talking about, oh, you know, my mom died, left me all the property. I said, you left me all the property? What about your brothers and sisters? Oh, Denaya, but she left it with me. No. I said, no, she didn't leave it with you. She died and left it intestate. That's the law. She didn't leave a will. Once she doesn't leave a will, it's not for you. If she didn't give you a will to say, this property is for you, it's not for you. Don't go around dancing and glorifying and telling my mom left all the property to me. No, you're an idiot. You're a dummy. And this is a man with master's degree. Been living in Liberia all his life, almost 50 years old, talking about his mom died and left all the property with him when he got brothers and sisters. I told him, I said, are you dumb or stupid? Don't you know that we have laws in our country? When people die, you can't just jump by and claim the property. You got to go to court and find out what the court says about the property. So this is how gullible our Liberian society is. If you got people with master's degree and PhD telling you stupid shit that you know, they don't know. People don't know the law. People don't know decency and procedures. Because your mom died and leave property, you say all the property for you and you forget about your brothers and sisters? I said, are you crazy? I told you, you know your brothers and sisters can have you put in jail if you ever use any money without reporting it. Since your mom died, have you made report to them of the property and the money you're using and spending? No. Well, your ass is on the way to jail. You're on the way to jail. Because our country is a country of laws. And when our young people in Liberia with master's degrees and PhD do not know that our country is a country of laws and they act like gullible idiots, they're no different from George Weah. How can you blame George Weah now? George Weah is smarter than the people in our country with bachelor's and master's degrees. This man old rusted man, master's degree, telling me that your mom died and left all the property for him, and he got brothers and sisters. I told you, I said, do you know you're supposed to go to the court and report all the properties over to the probate court so it can be probated to know that your mom died and left property? Oh, no, you don't know that? That property not for you. That property for all of y'all. And you are a custodian of the property until your brother and sister come. And if they come, if you have spent money or used sold the property or done anything without their consent, your ass is on the way to jail. So this is why our country is backwards. When you have the young, educated people in our society as dumb and stupid as the dummies that are leading our country today, what can you expect of our people? Our people are held hostages by dummies. Dummies, educated dummies and dummies. Our country is led by dummies. When a man with master's degree can come and tell you his mom died and all the property for him, we are in a probating on the property. We are knowing the laws that govern property laws. How can you deal with that kind of man? And the man got a master's degree. He's leading an organization. He's leading a big organization with money. And he's telling you that kind of stupid thing. And you know he's an idiot because he's telling you something that is not founded in law. That's why I told you, I said, my man, do you know you can go to jail for this shit? Your mom died intestate. There's a law for that. Because your mom died and then divide the property with everybody and left it, that don't mean she left it with you, idiot. You now her only child. And besides that, that's very selfish, very greedy, and very evil. When your mom died, you got brothers and sisters. Then you come tell your brother and sister, oh, my mom died, left all the property with me. What kind of evil shit is that? When our people our educated people do that kind of gullible, stupid shit, you expect our dummies who lead our country to know any better? Our country is in trouble. Our country needs help. Our people are not capable of leading Liberia to the next level. We have too many immature, educated, lost people in our country. They got degrees, but they don't know shit. They don't know shit. And that's the truth. So, we're left in the hands of Jesus Christ, whether you want to believe it or not. And that's my class for this morning. Because in order for us to really overcome this thing, our lies, our deception, we need profound leaders in our society. We can't change our country with all the good leaders. We need leaders who are above the lies, leaders who are above deception, leaders who know to build our country, we got to work hard. There can be no excuses for doing nothing. Everybody got to work. Everybody got to put their input in it, or you don't get nothing. So until we get this kind of leadership, until God blesses us, that our eyes can open and see the follies all around us and why we need profound leaders that are truthful, trustworthy, patriots, and above all, they will not take our shit. Then my country is ready to move in a different direction. The leaders make the changes that are necessary among the people. And while our leaders are dummies and idiots and slum lords and bastards and rogues, our country dies slowly as the people die faster. We got to resurrect our 1980 revolution. Our revolution was taking off its course because when Backers, they talk about a revolution, Backers, Matthew, they brought this idea about revolution. They incited us about revolution. They told us about in the cause of the people. They told us what we needed to do to change our country. Then the military came in and bypassed all of that and took us on a different trajectory. But we have come to our senses a little bit now. And those of us who are wise and have seen it all need to help to read our country back. We can't listen to Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg don't know nothing. We can't listen to other people who tell us what they think we should do. No. We need profound and blessed leaders who know what leadership is all about and can lead us in the right direction to a different, better, and more prosperous lifestyle. The time of the Liberian people is now. I can't express this with any more emphasis, nor can I express the importance of what I'm saying. The time of the Liberian people is now. We must rise up as patriots, true to what we will say, true to what we believe, true to how we mean to change our country. Put aside the lies, put aside the deception, put aside not doing nothing. We must rise up to do something to change our country and lead it in the direction of our 1980 revolution that wanted to stop corruption, stealing, lies, illicit behaviors, and every negative thing that bring our country to shame and disgrace. The time of the Liberian people is now. Our luta continua. My class is done. Have a good day. I see you tomorrow.